Have you ever met someone who achieves results effortlessly? Other people are putting in so much work day in and day out. And then there's someone who seems to know the cheat code to the game called life. We usually call those people lucky, but I suspect that the word luck can be attributed to something else. Recently, I've been thinking about the concept of masculine and feminine energies and what they represent. I think our world is bathing in masculine energy, but we are not really connecting with the feminine energy. Hey guys, my name is Paulina, if this is your first time seeing me in a video. And I'm gonna give you a quick disclaimer. This video is just me reflecting on the concept of masculine and feminine energies. I know this concept might sound very esoteric, so I'm just offering my personal reflections and my personal opinion. The reason I said that the world is literally flooded with masculine energy is because it's this doer energy. Always moving forward, always logical, rational, and realistic. And then when we see someone succeeding unexpectedly or quickly, we assume that this person has luck. And luck is this evasive, unpredictable ingredient that we simply cannot pin down. For some reason, it evades certain people, but then it's omnipresent in someone else's life. And luck simply cannot be explained by the masculine approach to life. So let's dive into these two attitudes towards life, feminine and masculine. And sorry if my voice sounds a little bit raspy. I'm in Germany right now, and I think I might be losing my voice, but I want to record it nonetheless. So what are masculine and feminine energies with which we can approach life? I wrote down some adjectives that I think correlate with each energy. I think masculine can be described as objective, realistic, hardworking, ambitious, planning, logical, maximizing the odds, pursuing. So it's someone who's always moving towards the goal. For the feminine energy, I wrote intuitive, spontaneous, serendipitous, aligned, lucky, peaceful, emotional, sensitive, receiving. In my mind, an example of someone being very masculine is sending out 500 job applications if someone wants to secure a job, or registering on every single possible dating app if they want to find a relationship. So this is a very proactive way to approach life. This is a person who's always doing something, always hustling. And there's also this interesting relationship between masculine energy and the sun, how men even have their hormones shifting according to a 24-hour cycle. If a person dives more into the feminine energy, they might approach things very differently. They might submit just 1 or 2 job applications specifically to the jobs that they want, or they might randomly meet the love of their lives without even planning it. Everything seems to be happening very enigmatically, like you just don't know why it's going this way. That's why there is such a luck-based justification. When something cannot be explained with a masculine approach, people just write it off as, oh, this person is lucky. So I think feminine is more about attracting something into your life with your state of being. So how are you feeling on a daily basis? How are you approaching life on a daily basis? Are you happy or are you depressed? So all of these little intricacies of your state of being play into the equation of the feminine energy. And if we're talking about the celestial bodies, it's very peculiar that women are synced with the moon cycle, which is a 28-day cycle. Like, I knew people that would submit 500 job applications and would struggle to even secure an interview, even though they had great credentials. And at the same time, I have met people who would submit 1 or 2 job applications with no job experience prior to that, and they would land a job and they would get their visa sponsorship and all of that. I was always so perplexed when I would hear about people like that, because I would feel like, oh my God, I'm putting everything into what I'm doing, yet the results I'm getting are just not comparable to someone who's doing the same thing with so much ease. I've observed the same thing with love. I've seen girls who have been dating for a decade or more, and they just can't seem to find the one right person for them. And at the same time, I have seen girls who just immediately, like, randomly meet the love of their lives and then get engaged and get married. Obviously, this is a very esoteric subject. I'm just sharing my personal thoughts on this duality, on this like yin-yang kind of idea. And of course, both energies like can complement each other beautifully. Yet, of course, as a woman, I think at this point, I want to relate to the feminine energy side of the equation more than to masculine energy. So yeah, overall, I feel like this idea of energy is not very widely accepted, which is fair, even though we pretty much consist of 99% empty space. So how can it even get weirder than that? So yeah, I'm personally convinced that there are observable patterns in people's lives. And I want to tell you one little story from my own life that to me showed how certain things can be very easy and I can achieve a greater result by relaxing and being in a good state of being instead of like hustling and pursuing something. So my story is about a flight getting delayed. I was flying from New York to Miami and my flight was delayed by 8 hours. At that point, we had already boarded the plane, so we had to disembark. And once everyone got back to the terminal, a lot of people were so furious and they rushed to the airline counter to try to change the ticket to a sooner departure time. At the same time, I was in no rush. I was just going to visit a friend in Miami. I didn't have any particular plans. And I was just like, whatever, I'm not going to stress about it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to try to run ahead of all these people that are rushing to the airline counter. I'm just going to like take my time. Even if I have to take the delayed flight, it's fine with me. And then I started slowly walking towards the airline counter just to find out what my options were. And I ran into an employee of the airline on the way there. And I asked her, oh, where is the airline counter? Where should I go? Can you please tell me? And she was like, yes, 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 go to gate 5. And I was like, thank you so much. And I was so relaxed. And she, for some reason, stopped me and she was like, hold on, there's going to be a lot of people near gate 5. So maybe you should try gate 58. It's like a little bit further, but maybe no one will be there. And I said, oh, thank you so much for the tip. And I walked past the first airline counter where I could see the longest line ever of all these, agitated people trying to change their flight. And I walked to gate 58 and there was not a single person there. And there were 2 people at the counter just waiting, for someone to show up. So I immediately got a chance to talk to them and I got waitlisted for the flight that was leaving in 40 minutes. The only thing they couldn't do is transfer my luggage from the old flight to the new flight. But I told them, oh, don't worry about it. It's totally fine. Thank you so much. And I walked to the flight where I was waitlisted. I was on the standby list and I saw that there were like 35 names on the standby list. I was one of the 4 people who made it from the standby list on the flight. So I got on the flight. Again, I was very relaxed. I was just going with the flow, just enjoying my day no matter what. And when I got to Miami, I went to the lost and found counter to try to give them my address. And they were like, wait, but your suitcase is already here. I was like, how is it possible? Like I was told it was not going to be possible. And then I went to the luggage belt and my suitcase was the first one to appear on the belt. That was like the cherry on top. So that experience actually taught me a lot. It taught me to relax. It taught me to be pleasant and kind with every single person I meet in my life. It taught me acceptance. It taught me so many things. And I think it also was a great practice for me in terms of how to be in my receiving feminine energy. This experience was so smooth. It felt like I was receiving help all along the way. And yes, you might say that I was just lucky for some reason, but it just really, really correlated with my state of being. I was truly not in a rush, and yet I got better results than those people who were in the longest line, feeling furious, feeling agitated, feeling disappointed. All those people probably arrived in Miami much later than I did. So I think this is like a combination maybe of masculine and feminine energy for me, because I still asked the airline employee, I still walked to the counter, right? I still interacted, I still took action, but it required way less action than had I been like hustling and running around and just feeling angry with the situation. Well, guys, in conclusion to this video, I just want to say that I really want to harness the power of this more intuitive approach to life, because I've tried hustling, I've tried sacrificing my health and just working all around the clock. And in the past, I would just burn out every single time that I did it. So clearly, the hustling approach doesn't work for me. I would like to have a balance in my life. And maybe this is a new idea. Maybe this is something that we are kind of uncomfortable with. But maybe success is possible without the craziest hustle. Maybe if we are more open to receiving, maybe if we still take action, of course, but we also have a good balance of being happy and enjoying our lives, maybe then success comes to us more easily. This is quite a controversial thought in a society that really cherishes hard work, but maybe the work does not need to be this hard. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this topic, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.